Good evening. This is the Ramble Transmissions podcast with me, your host, Kevin Seconds. How's it going? It's Sunday, May 28th, 2023, and I'm just sitting here in my lovely little studio in Sacramento, California. Just got a text message. I'm going to ignore it. I don't even recognize the number. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're doing fantastically groovy. It's weird. It's punk rock bowling weekend, Memorial Day weekend, and man, I tell you, punk rock bowling. First, let me just say that it's absolutely inspired fucking genius. The Stern brothers, Mark and Sean. I don't know what year it is. It's been going for a long time, and I remember hearing sort of rumors that they were working on this thing where they were incorporating punk rock music shows, bowling, competitive bowling, mixed with partying, however you might do that, and food and hanging out, and all of this would be happening in Las Vegas. And I remember thinking, half of that could be really fucking cool. Half of that could be something that I'd be really into. And then the other half would just be stuff I'd just be thinking, I don't want any part of this. This is like the antithesis of what I'm into. A big part of it is Las Vegas. Now, before anybody gets upset about this, let me just say that on a personal level, and especially regarding 7 Seconds, we've had some incredible shows in Las Vegas. We've had incredible punk rock bowling shows. I think my favorite, I think the first couple of times we played down in Las Vegas way back in the early 80s, we played in Room 13, which was like a converted warehouse that kids took over and built the stage and made into an underground punk rock fucking venue, and it was incredible. We played, I think, 2 or 3 more party shows, and I don't know if we ever played Panolas. I don't think we did, but we played within the very underground scope of whatever was happening in the Las Vegas underground punk rock scene. And back then, because we hailed from Reno, northern Nevada, and Vegas is obviously southern Nevada, there was always sort of a perceived idea that if and when we ever got down to Vegas, that there would be kind of a weird attitude towards us because we were Reno people and they were Las Vegas people. They had a really great scene happening. We had a great scene happening in Reno. A lot of touring acts were really making efforts to come through our respective cities and play because they knew that there was there were smaller scenes, but they were very, very active, very, very cool and fun and inclusive and all that stuff. When we got down to Vegas, of course, we realized right away that we were welcomed with open arms, and we made a lot of friendships that last to this day. Hell, I fell in love in Las Vegas, But I mean, it was great to know that we were on the same page. Vegas bands would come up to Reno. I'd book, RZM. Subterfuge was one of my favorite bands from Las Vegas. And it was just a nice kind of a thing we had. The two cities we were really kind of working in conjunction with. We're Nevadans. Let's work together and not against each other. And that's exactly what happened. As a city, I've never really enjoyed Las Vegas. It's kind of a fun city to go to, like for a night. I'm not a drinker. I'm not a gambler. So that aspect is kind of out the window. Vegas has always been kind of a weird town. It's always felt to me like a gigantic amusement park city. And I mean, it kind of is, right? And there's a lot of people that are from other parts that relocate there. And it just always had a feeling of like going away and turning into something else at any time. And I don't know that that's happened. I'm sure there's most definitely a Las Vegas culture that is solid and great. I've just never, I've never been there long enough to really fully understand it. So I can't say that I've ever had a great time in Las Vegas other than the gig itself and hanging out with some friends. But then punk rock bowling kind of made Las Vegas, in my mind, really super fucking appealing, you know? And this is coming from someone that's not a partier, you know? I don't go out and drink all night long and do crazy shit too often. So once it got rolling and we started to hear good things about it, we were like, well, fuck, you know, this is great. And eventually we got asked to play our first punk rock bowling. I don't remember what it was. I was going to look this up, and I have the benefit of later on maybe adding a flyer graphic or something so that you'll see. But we played and we had a great fucking time. And since that time, we've played a handful of times, and it's always been fun. You know, we've played the main stage outside a couple times, but primarily we played the club shows. And we just always ended up loving it. You know, we would always headline a show, and the bills would be solid, and the shows would sell out within 40 minutes or something. I've had some great solo shows. Been able to play with some people that I love and respect a great deal. And this, like, again, the participation, being part of the crazy circus aspect of punk rock bowling is pretty fucking great. I feel pretty honored, and I'm happy to have been involved in it in any form or facet. When 7 Seconds took our bow out, the breakup back in 2018, whatever the fuck it was, there was a sense that I remember talking to Margie Alban, our booker, and I said, hey, any chance you want to throw my name out there to the powers that be at Punk Rock Bowling and see if they want to book me on a solo show? And I remember saying, yeah, I'm not sure they're going to do that this year, but I'll put it out there. And it didn't come to fruition. And I remember thinking, that's probably it for me. I'm probably not going to do Punk Rock Bowling because I don't have enough of a powerful draw to be able to get on. And selling yourself as a solo acoustic person or whatever is a bit rough. Some people get it, some people don't. In the grander scheme of punk rock bowling, I'm sure that it's certainly not a priority. I don't think this year they even have an acoustic stage. They used to always have sort of the acoustic punk rock singer-songwriters over at the Beauty Bar, and that's where I'd always play with Steve Soto and Darius from Swingin' Utters and I don't know, Tim Barry. I think I played there with Chuck Reagan one time. I played a few times, but I just kind of gave up on the idea, and I said, I had a good run. 7 Seconds comes back. We do the tour with Circle Jerks and Negative Approach, and it's great. Successful. We did well. People are, for the most part, saying, hey, man, I don't know what I expected, but they did it. They rocked out. They look good up there. And people seem to be really happy that we came back and that I guess we're still back. If you think about it, we've got shows lined up, a few shows. We were offered, 7 Seconds were offered a spot on Punk Rock Bowling this year. And it was a great offer. And, financially, we would have had a spot on the bill. I'm hoping I'm not speaking out of turn. I don't know. I signed nothing saying that I couldn't talk about this either way. But we were offered a spot, and we considered it. We were like, we had to cancel when 7 Seconds broke up. We basically canceled two things. We canceled Punk Rock Bowling that year, our spot on that year, which was, I think the show had sold out, and Europe, some dates in Europe. And that was it. So there was a big part of us. I remember talking with Steve, my brother Steve, and saying, it would be really great to play punk rock bowling. I think at the time we didn't think that we'd get asked to for some various reasons that we were wrong about. We did get asked, and we did have to ponder it. Unfortunately, there were things within our organization that sort of kept us from being able to say yes to more shows this year. Hence, that's why we're only doing a handful of shows this year. Some of you who know the backstory, will probably be able to guess what the deal was. I'm not going to go into detail. It's not important at this point. The gist of me doing this talk right now is to kind of just talk about the feelings that come up when the rumblings begin every year. The punk rock bowling rumblings start. Not everybody cares. I know a lot of people that have actively sought to never go to punk rock bowling. Oh, fuck that. It's just commercial. It's just a bunch of fucking old punk rockers, old fat punk rockers getting drunk. Fuck that. It's just more bullshit, And that's all just garbage. All of it's garbage. You can choose not to go. I can see why you don't want to go. You could look at going to concerts or going whatever. You can have your own your own opinion on it. I don't give a fuck. But for those of us that have participated and those of us who understand that it's a pretty fucking cool thing, ultimately, there are parts of it that I'm not fond of. Every time I see a videotape of a bunch of old, out-of-shape tattooed punk rockers frolicking in the swimming pool and there's like a live band playing poolside, I always cringe a little bit, I'm not going to lie, because what I do is I visualize myself in there, with no shirt on, wearing some beach, some shorts, and frolicking around, hitting a fucking a beach ball, and thinking that I'm having the time of my life and that I look pretty good, and then seeing it later and going, oh my God, what have I done? And I'm being silly, of course, but for those of us that understand the value and the worth in punk rock bowling, if you know you're not going, and everybody is fucking going. That's the thing. Everybody I know goes every year. All the folks that I consider good friends, they go every year. And they even invite me. They're like, come on, man, just go. Just go. Who cares if you're playing or not? And I'll talk about that in a second. And I do ponder it. I ponder it. But I never do. And I can't say I regret it. At the end of this, right, it's tonight is like, what, day 3? What is it? Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, I think. Maybe there's something on Thursdays. I don't even know anymore. But we're into the swing of we're Sunday, so I think tonight is the Damned and Rancid. I'm dating this, of course, but get over it. You'll be fun. And it's going to wind down. Tomorrow is the last, and everybody goes home and goes back to work and whatever they're going to do. You see the images, you see the photos, you see the videos, and you're like, man, I would have loved to have seen them. The Slackers are playing shit, the Avengers are playing, Rancid's playing, who else is playing? I think the Drowns, there's just so many bands that are playing, you know what I mean? Like it's a no-brainer if you've got extra income and you're a huge fan of live shows and these bands. But I got to admit, it's just so hard on me. It's like, it must be what single people do on Valentine's Day, Oh, fuck, here we go again. All the cutesy photos of couples, how in love they are, and, like proclaiming their love and talking about how what I would have been a different person, and the single people are just like, shut up, man, like I don't even know what you're talking about. Go fuck off. It must be similar to that, right? I don't know if it is. I don't give it much thought, but I'm experiencing, I guess what the kids call FOMO. I'm experiencing FOMO. Part of me is just like happy that I'm getting to sit here and do my fucking podcast. And I just went on a little cruise around on my new bike. I just got a new bike. It's not new. It's old, but it's the bike that I've wanted forever, that I visualized but couldn't. I don't work on bikes, and I didn't want to spend a lot of money. And I found out that there's this guy that lives 15 minutes from me, who has a whole backyard full of these cool bikes that he likes to fucking work on, and I got it. And so I've been trying to get back into shape a little bit and riding around my bike. But anyway, there's that, but then there's also the aspect of just like, man, it would be great. I'm sharing a hotel room with some good friends. We're going out to eat. We look on the fucking schedule and see who we want to see, pass on the bands we don't want to see, probably run into people, that we like, people from bands, get photos taken, just watch people have a good time. And it is really fun to walk down Fremont Street, the Fremont experience. For those that you don't know, Fremont is like one of the old main drags of Las Vegas, and the old casinos dot that street, and then they've got this big canopy, this big roof, kind of an arch-shaped roof, and it's all lit up, and they do a light show, and then they have like zip lines going back and forth, so people are going whizzing above your head. You've got dancers, half nude dancers dancing on bars outside to entice you to come in and watch, I suppose, nude dancing. There's the performers, people dressed up like Kiss, Mickey Mouse, fucking Popeye, I don't know, just I've talked about this before. People in really dingy looking uniform, outfits, and they're kind of out of shape and kind of it's a little sad, to be honest with you, but it is a spectacle. It's fun to take photos. Actually, they get really upset if you take photos unless you pay them. But they're street performers all along the fucking way. They even have a stage in the middle of that street where they have actual performers. I mean, not like A-list rock and rollers, but like probably like Warrant would play there, or I don't know, people that have been big at some point but aren't that big anymore. It's a spectacle, and you can appreciate it. I can appreciate it for about an hour, and if I'm with good friends, I can ignore some of the sad parts and the gross parts, and think about what's in store. Oh, we got a show. Usually, I'm only there when I'm playing, so usually it's like, okay, I gotta be mindful of what time it is, and we don't go on. We go on at 11, so we've got a couple hours to kill. I don't want to go, weigh myself down with food, so it's kind of always a weird thing. But anyway, I'm feeling FOMO, and there are some bands that I would have loved to have seen. I always love to see bands. I would have loved to have seen The Damned. I can't remember who else is playing. I believe we were supposed to be on the stage, or we were on the bill with GBH, if I'm not mistaken, but I was trying to see if I could see a quick shot of the flyer, the schedule. But anyway, yeah, that's what's going on, and it's not too bad. Within the next day or so, I'll feel pretty good. We'll be back to normal. But I thought I would just share that with you, and I'm sure some people can relate, not just with punk rock bowling, but anything. Man, I'm really, it's killing me that I'm not at Coachella right now. Or damn it, I've gone every fucking Lollapalooza that's ever been, except for this year. I'm really missing out. Riot Fest. People say that about Riot Fest. People say that about the Fest in Florida. You're always missing out on something. Some people, and I'll end this with this. I know a handful of people that go to so many fucking concerts. I almost think that they're on the payroll of bands, or they're on the payroll of like Golden Voice or Live Nation. Like they secretly work for them, and they get free tickets, but they do something. Maybe they're monitoring something. They're doing a job, but they're pretending like they're just Uber fans. Again, I'm just kidding, but it blows my mind that people can go to so many fucking concerts. It's just I'm somewhat jealous, envious, I guess is the word. And then the other part of me is like, how the fuck can you? How can you stand or sit for that long and go see, especially these big concerts? Because, again, when I was a kid, it was so thrilling to go to an arena to see a show, or a stadium even. But nowadays, it's like the absolute last thing that I want to do. We're going to go see, Allison and I and some dear friends are going to go see ZZ Top and Lynyrd Skynyrd later in the year. And that probably sounds really stupid to many of you. Because, number one, even if you grew up listening to Lynyrd Skynyrd, which I did, and I still love a lot of Lynyrd Skynyrd songs. I don't care. When you go to see Lynyrd Skynyrd, you're not seeing any original members. They're all gone. We just lost Gary this year. Gary Rosington, the last guitar player of the original lineup, passed away. There's no original guys left, right? Or women left. So you're not really seeing Lynyrd Skynyrd. You're just seeing the latest, probably guys that have been in the band for 20 years, but they're still the new guys. More importantly, ZZ Top. I fucking love ZZ Top. I didn't like their 80s. I didn't like 80s ZZ Top. The shtick with the three of them doing the little thing with the, and that was Legs, that song. When they used to have that, they had like some keyboards, I think, in there, and it's weird beat added. It sounded very electronic. It sounded very 80s to me. But give me a little Tres Hombres or whatever. What was the other? Yeah, I mean, all of the early stuff's great, and they've released some great records since then. Really good stuff. I'm very excited, even though I know that the original bass player is no longer with the band and no longer with us. But it'll be fun. It'll be fun to go to. Now, who knows? Maybe by the time we get there, I'll just be going, really? We bought tickets for this? This is just ridiculous. Redonkulous. Anyway, it's been fantastic. We're coming up to a 20-minute Wow, a record. Be well, everybody. I love you all. Thank you for the support. Let me just also say, Please Unfriend Me Now podcast is finally launched. Thank goodness. It's just taken me so long. It came out, episode 1, with Chris Sherry, the fucking artist extraordinaire for The Descendants and so many other great bands, and also just a dear friend of mine. Was my first guest, was my first episode, and we got it up. We got it all uploaded. Everything's great. I wasn't totally aware that podcasts chart. They have charts for podcasts depending on the category. And we did pretty fucking good for the first week. We were up there in the number 5, number 4. So it was Canada. We seemed to do better in Canada than America. But hey, you know what? I'm just thrilled, and I want to thank you for listening. And I hope you'll just keep listening to these or watching them on YouTube. It means a great deal to me. Always subscribe to whatever you can, like and support. It just helps. It keeps me up. It keeps me excited about wanting to do this, and maybe I shouldn't be so fucking dependent on your, I don't want to say approval, but just your support. But it sure does help a lot. So thank you very much. Much love to you. And I guess we'll talk soon. All right. Be well. Take care. Bye.